I think it's just very important that people don't get put in a box as a non-entrepreneur just because they haven't done it before. So there's this idea that entrepreneurs are somehow born and not made, developed, grown and nurtured over time. And I just think this idea is nuts and needs to be addressed. First of all, what is it to be an entrepreneur? Well, it's simply someone that steps outside of corporate structures, sets up their own enterprise at some financial risk for a greater level of financial gain. And so by definition, we can see that anyone could do that. So what does it take to be a great entrepreneur? Maybe that's what the debate's about. So if we try and understand what it is to be a great entrepreneur, there are a few factors that we need to have. And I think you'll agree with me that these factors can all be learnt and developed over time. The first one is around understanding markets and sort of being able to see business opportunities. And I think the more that you have exposure to certain markets and certain industries, you're going to be able to see opportunities. There are, hundreds of thousands of people doing this for corporations already, and they're just being entrepreneurial within that business structure, or sort of you might want to call that intrapreneurial. So they're doing it without the risk element. So we know that there are many people that can see opportunities in markets, and we know that the more time we spend in certain markets and industries, we're going to be able to see things more clearly, we're going to be able to recognize patterns and therefore spot opportunities. So we can definitely learn and develop that. The other thing then becomes about this idea of risk, which is inherently related to the concept and construct of psychological optimism. So optimism is all about sort of our feelings going into a situation that everything is going to work out in the end. It's not a sort of a fluffy construct. It's something that's very real and very important for us to be optimistic in most lines of work. And all of the research shows that, and unless you're working in some kind of risk management industry, typically being more optimistic is going to help you be more successful. And then you can look at the work of people like Martin Seligman, who have shown that you can learn to be more optimistic. And then what is risk anyway? So risk is just our perception of a situation. If somebody didn't want to take an entrepreneurial risk and they weren't quite sure about it, if you stick £2 million in that person's bank account, maybe that changes their perception of what is actually at risk. And so you can change risk through the conditions that are in place, and through changing people's thought processes very quickly without it having to be something that we're naturally born to do. So two of the key constructs then, we know that we can learn and develop these. And I think it's just very important that people don't get put in a box as a non-entrepreneur just because they haven't done it before. It comes down to how much do you want it? How much do you want to chase that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? And how much are you willing to change and develop yourself in order to learn the things that you need to learn in order to be a great entrepreneur? And I think it's within all of us if we're willing to search for it.